Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. And for those of you that are new here, well then, hello there. I am the Twisted Jedi, and if you love all things Star Wars as well as Star Wars gaming and collectibles, then this is the right channel for you. Consider subscribing and turning on notifications for a load of Star Wars videos in the future. Anyways, today I am going to be giving a review and kind of an overview of Star Wars Resistance Episode 1. So here is the deal. I wasn't really too keen on the idea of the show, but being open-minded, I decided to watch the first episode and at least give it a chance. My initial thoughts after seeing the trailer was that it seemed very childish and obviously being aimed towards kids. I didn't feel like that it would be something I would enjoy. I also wasn't a fan of the animation style from what we saw in the trailers earlier because I was so used to the awesome style of the Clone Wars animated series and even Star Wars Rebels. But despite my earlier judgment based on the trailers, I decided to give it a watch anyway. So what I'm going to do now is give you guys a brief overview of the episode and some of the characters as well as what my thoughts were on it. So episode 1 for Star Wars Resistance runs for about 40 minutes, which makes sense being the first episode to introduce characters and set up the show. I know there's a few more episodes out now, but I haven't really checked them out and looked at the runtime on them, but I would assume they will drop back to 20 minutes after the first episode. The first episode opens with our main character Kazuda Xiono, aka Kaz, and he's actually in a fighter battling a member of the First Order, which is the red stormtrooper we saw in the trailers in brief snippets. Now, I thought this could be Captain Cardinal, but at this point it is really hard to tell. One thing is for sure though, he looks very cool and his red colored tie is no different. Kaz manages to hold off the First Order trooper until Poe Dameron comes out of nowhere and saves the day. During this scene, Kaz and Poe work together and force the First Order pilot to retreat. Now this scene was a decent way to start off the episode and gave me a different opinion than what I had originally thought. Following this, Poe takes Kaz to the Colossus, which is basically a big space rig full of scum, villainy, and most importantly, pilots. Pilots that race for money and all kinds of other things, and seems like what it's going to be the main part of the show. Kaz quickly meets Niku, who from moment one you can tell is an annoying loudmouth. Kaz dreams about being the best pilot in the galaxy, and Niku decides to tell everyone on the Colossus that Kaz already claims to be the best pilot in the galaxy. So rumors swirl around and Kaz is in a lot of hot water thanks to Nico and his big mouth. It becomes clear throughout the episode Kaz has a knack for getting into trouble, mostly because of Niku as well, which led to a bar brawl and even other altercations with some other scum on board. Kaz is soon though introduced to Yeager, who seems like a cool and collected character, and Poe seems to know him quite well, and he's the one that introduces the two characters. Kaz becomes a member of Yeager's race team and his newest pilot. The ship he is given is an absolute rust bucket piece of junk called the Fireball, and for good reason. Simply put, this ship keeps blowing up. It reminds me of the first bobsled they get given in the Cool Runnings movie, where it's just an absolute piece of junk and it's a fixer-upper. Skipping ahead a little bit in the episode though, Kaz manages to get some secondhand parts for the ship and ends up in a race and does better than people expected him to. Although he crashed, he still survived, which no one who raced the person he was racing against had managed to do, so he's already a step up on his competition. Honestly, in my opinion, this whole scene wasn't really super interesting to me. I prefer the scenes where the First Order are involved to be kind of a bridge between episode 6 and 7. The problem with this first episode is that 90% of it focused on the racing and not the war between the Resistance and the First Order. I think a majority of fans who are giving this show a chance want to see the war more so than the races, so it was a little bit disappointing. The episode ended off though with the red First Order pilot from the opening scene returning to base and contacting them, telling them to inform Captain Phasma of his return, so obviously somehow he has a direct link to Phasma. If he is Cardinal, then that would make sense for anyone who has read the Phasma novel. You would know Phasma and Cardinal have their little rivalry going, but at the same time it sounds like the First Order officer that is talking to him on the comm calls him by another name which sounded like Andre or something along those lines. It was kind of hard to tell in the moment, but at the same time it could still be anyone. So overall guys, the episode wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I would have liked to have seen more of the First Order than just one pilot and a mention of Captain Phasma. I am curious to find out who this red trooper is, so I probably will be watching episode 2 out of curiosity. Now, did I like the episode? It was okay. I don't get that same feeling of awesomeness like I do when I watch the Clone Wars. Even some of the worst episodes of the Clone Wars were better than this first episode of Resistance, which is a shame, but if I have some time to kill, then watching an episode of Resistance here or there isn't gonna kill me. So here is my question to you guys. For those of you that have seen the first episode, what did you think compared to your initial thoughts? For those of you that haven't seen it, do you plan on watching it at all? And lastly guys, would you like to see more videos like this giving an overview and my thoughts on future episodes if I'm going to be watching it anyway. Let me know down in the comments. I know a lot of you probably don't plan on even watching the show, so maybe these videos would be a good thing for you guys just to keep a heads up on what's going on in the show without having to sit down for 20 minutes and watch full episodes. So that's going to do it for this video. If you are new and love Star Wars, definitely consider subscribing as we are extremely close to 5k subs. Also drop a like on the video to show your support for the channel. That is all I have for you guys at the moment. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I am the Twisted Jedi, and may the Force be with you always.
The